name is Aiden Boyer, and today we're going to be putting together the electrospray peak T assembly. We're going to be doing this using the reverse assembly method. First I'm going to show you what you need. So you need peak capillary tubing, that's this red stuff here. You need a inline adapter to take a 1/16 inch outer diameter down to a 360 micron inner diameter. So that's this blue thing here along with this white screw cap, and that all comes in this bag from IDEX with this part number. You need a peak T, which has these ferrule nut fittings that have they accept 1/16 inch OD tubing, and there's a 0.5 millimeter through hole in the T, and so that comes in this bag with this part number from IDEX. You also need these green tubes here. These are called capillary sleeving. They have 1/16 of an inch OD with about 390 micron inner diameter, and they are about 1.5 inches long. They have this part number. Again, all this is from IDEX. And then you need the emitters. This is the emitter packaging. The emitters come from Micromics. They have a length of 8.5 centimeters, an OD of 360 micrometers, and an ID of 20 micrometers. Okay, so when we say reverse assembly, what we mean is we're assembling from the right side all the way this way. So we're going to start by picking up this ferrule and picking up this little green tube. And we are going to take this green tube. So if you look through the middle of these things, they are completely through hole. The inner diameter of that hole is about 1/16 of an inch, and the outer diameter of this tube is about 1/16 of an inch, so we're just going to push it through. Sometimes it takes a little bit of force. There we go. And what we want is we want the tubing to protrude by about 3/16 of an inch or 5 millimeters, so that's good. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to screw this into the peak T. So we just take this, put these two together, and then screw it in. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the electrospray emitter. If you're picking up from a flat surface, I recommend using these tweezers, just so that you can get it off the table, and then you can pick it up in your hand and hold it. Just try not to touch the pointy end over here. I believe this can easily damage the emitter. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the blunt end and we're going to thread it through that really tiny hole here in the green tubing. Sometimes this takes a try or two. Come on. This is a bit tricky. There we go. Okay, so I've inserted the emitter into the green tubing, and I'm going to slide the emitter. I'm going to slide the emitter all the way through. If you put it in like this, it pretty much guarantees that the emitter will easily pass through the middle of this peak T. It's very hard to do by eye, so I really recommend doing it this way. And we're just going to intentionally grab the blunt end and pull it even further along. You want the sharp point of the emitter to just barely be seeable through this green tube. Okay, we're going to put that down for a second, and we're going to take this peak nut ferrule. Again, this is just like the previous one, so it's a hole straight through, 1/16 inch inner diameter. We're going to put another green tube into this guy. Hi. Okay, so sorry for the interruption. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this other peak ferrule, and we're going to take a green tube, and we're going to thread the green tube through the peak nut again, and you want it to protrude a little bit at the other side, so that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing, and we're going to pick up this guy, and we're going to send the blunt end of the emitter through the very small hole in this tube. Alright, there we go. So you can see that I've slid the emitter through this tubing, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this end. So let me just do that real quick. Awesome. Now I'm going to attempt to remove the fitting on this end. So we're going to unscrew this. Okay, and then we're going to just gently hold the other end of the emitter and slide this off. There we go. Perfect. And now we can remove, I'm going to put this guy down. Now we can remove the capillary sleeve tubing from this guy, because we don't need it anymore. And then we can pick up the T, and we can bring that emitter most of the way through. That seems like a good enough amount. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, put the T down, you want to pick up the body of the inline adapter, and you need to cap off the 16th inch end of the adapter using this white screw cap. I have the directions pasted in the logbook somewhere around page 80 something from the manufacturer as to why you need to do this. They recommend that you start with the smaller inner diameter side, and the reason you need to cap it like this is so that you can make sure you get a clean flush connection that's liquid tight. Okay, so we've done that. Now we take the 360 micron inner diameter ferrule nut and we put it onto the emitter. So we take the blunt end and we just pass it in here. It doesn't look like I passed it in very nice and clean because it pushed the emitter out the other end. So we're going to try that again. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Okay, there we go. So you can see that I've managed to pass the emitter through the small connection on the inline adapter, and this is the same as the peak tubing with the green sleeve. You need to make sure that there's only about 3/16 of an inch available. So we're going to slide some of that back the other way. Okay, that looks about good. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, now we're going to take this. See, I've got the emitter through it. We're going to take this adapter union, inline adapter, and we're going to screw it on here. Okay, I'm going to just make sure it's tight. So now we have this whole thing as one complete unit. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this peak tubing. This is the capillary tubing. We're going to use this to put liquid into the peak T. And we take this 16th inch inner diameter ferrule nut, and we're going to put it through here. Again, you want to leave about 3/8 of an inch. That looks good enough. Then you want to remove the white cap screw on the inline adapter. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, and now you're going to take this guy, screw it in here. This part can be hard if it's just you because, you know, it's difficult. Okay, so at this point I've got the everything connected together, more or less. So this connection is tight, I can tell, because I grabbed the tubing, I grabbed the adapter, and I just try to pull, and nothing comes loose, so that's good. The emitter connection, it's a little bit harder to tell if it's tight, but if you grab the emitter, and then you grab the adapter and try to tug, nothing's moving, so that's good. This peak T assembly is free to move around because it's not secured to this thing, so just be mindful of that. And the only thing left to do is to put this peak nut back on to the other end. And you'll have to be careful here. Be very careful when you thread it, when you thread the sharp point through, because you want to try to avoid touching that to anything. Thankfully the clearance is pretty large on that. And then you screw it in. And there we go. We've got a fully assembled peak T. Now what I don't have yet to install here is the gas connections that would go up here. There would be some sort of fitting that takes gas tubing down to 1/16 of an inch, and it would just flow out collinearly out the right side, because the emitter is not wide enough for the entire hole, the entire throughway hole that the ferrule nut here has. So that's it. So thank you for watching, and bye.